The brain supplement industry is worth over $12 billion a year, and most of what it sells you has never been tested in a human being. That's not an opinion. That's what the research says. And if you've been spending money on cognitive supplements, or thinking about starting, you deserve to know exactly what the science actually supports, what it doesn't, and how to tell the difference. Because there are supplements with real, replicated evidence behind them. And there are supplements with impressive-sounding ingredient lists that were designed by a marketing team, not a neuroscientist. By the end of this video, you'll know which is which. Let's start with how supplement research actually works, because this part is almost never explained. When a company says an ingredient is clinically studied, that can mean several very different things. It can mean a single study, done in a lab, on isolated cells in a petri dish. It can mean an animal study. It can mean a human study with 20 participants, funded by the company that sells the product. Or, and this is the rare exception, it can mean multiple randomized controlled trials with hundreds of human participants, replicated by independent researchers. The problem is that all four of those scenarios look identical on a supplement label. So, before we get into specific ingredients, understand this rule. The only evidence that actually tells you whether a supplement works in a human brain is a randomized controlled trial, an RCT, conducted in humans, with a placebo group ideally replicated more than once. Everything else is preliminary. Not worthless, but preliminary. Now, the ingredients that have cleared that bar. Bacopa monnieri. This is one of the most studied nootropic compounds in existence. Multiple double-blind RCTs, including a 2016 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology, have shown that Bacopa supplementation improves memory recall and processing speed in adults. The mechanism involves acetylcholinesterase inhibition. Essentially, it slows the breakdown of acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter most associated with memory formation. The catch: it takes 8 to 12 weeks of consistent use before benefits appear. Any product promising Bacopa results in days is misleading you. Lion's mane mushroom. This fungus has earned serious scientific attention for one specific reason. It stimulates production of nerve growth factor, or NGF. NGF supports the survival and growth of neurons. A Japanese RCT published in Phytotherapy Research showed significant improvements in mild cognitive impairment scores in older adults after 16 weeks of lion's mane supplementation. More recent research is exploring its potential role in neuroplasticity and mood regulation. The evidence is genuinely promising and growing. Citicoline, also called CDP-choline. This is a precursor to both acetylcholine and phosphatidylcholine, a key component of neuronal cell membranes. Clinical trials have shown improvements in attention, memory, and psychomotor speed, particularly in older adults and in populations recovering from cognitive impairment. Effective doses in research are typically 250 to 500 milligrams per day. Rhodiola rosea. This is an adaptogen, meaning it helps the body regulate its stress response. Multiple RCTs have shown that rhodiola reduces mental fatigue and improves performance under stress. A 2009 study published in Phytomedicine found significant improvements in attention, cognitive function, and general well-being in medical students during high-stress exam periods. It doesn't make you smarter. It makes you more resilient under pressure, which for most people dealing with cognitive load is exactly what's needed. Now, the other side of the conversation. The majority of proprietary blends on the market combine 8 to 15 ingredients at doses that are too small to produce any measurable effect. This is sometimes called fairy dusting, the practice of including a researched ingredient at a fraction of the dose used in actual studies, purely for label credibility. Huperzine A is frequently used this way. It has interesting research behind it. It also inhibits acetylcholinesterase, but it has a significant half-life issue and can accumulate in the body if taken daily. Studies suggest cycling it rather than continuous use. Most supplements don't mention this. Phosphatidylserine has some decent evidence, but primarily for cognitive decline in older adults, not performance enhancement in healthy individuals. The dosing in most products is also below what studies used. Here is how to read a supplement label without being fooled. 1. Look for a proprietary blend listed as a single combined weight. If you see Cognitive Matrix 750 ml, followed by 8 ingredients, you have no idea how much of anything is actually in there. 2. Check the dose against the research. If Bacopa is listed and studies used 300 to 450 milligrams but the entire blend is 400 milligrams total, the math doesn't work. 3. Look at who funded the studies cited on the label. Company-funded research is not fraudulent by definition, but independent replication matters significantly more. 4. Be suspicious of any product promising results in 30 minutes. Most clinically validated nootropic compounds require weeks to months of consistent use to produce measurable changes. So, does the science say brain supplements work? The honest answer is, some do, under specific conditions, for specific populations, at specific doses, with consistent use over time. That's not the answer a $12 billion industry wants you to hear, but it's the accurate one, and it's actually more useful, because it tells you what to look for. If you want to go deeper, specifically into which supplements are worth considering for focus and mental clarity, and what the current research says about stacking them, the full breakdown is in the article linked in the description below. Subscribe if you want the next video. See you there.